guys, I'm going to do a heart to Hannah today. I know that I was supposed to do it a long time ago, but I do still have all your requests and stuff. I just took a little break because I feel like I was very emotionally overwhelmed like the past month. So this one says tips on making new friends in a new city. I feel like I have like very fresh tips on this because I moved to San Francisco like knowing nobody but Jimmy, and I think that, and just moving to Berkeley, like I don't know anybody in Berkeley, and like all my San Francisco friends, it's 40 minutes by BART, so it's not exactly that far, but it's just kind of annoying to have to deal with that distance. Like it definitely makes me not see them as much anymore. So going into a new city, it feels difficult to like make new closer friends. But I think a tip is just like, even if it seems really daunting to go to events or like gatherings, I would just do it, even if you only know like one person there. And just kind of putting yourself out there over and over again makes you like connect with them more, because I know some people click like the first time they see each other, but it doesn't happen like that for everybody. For me, I've really had to like put in some work to create the friendships that I've had, which seems pretty obvious. Like the friends that I have now, like I didn't really start getting close to them after like a year. So I definitely think that just kind of putting yourself out there more and like going to more things, even if it's painfully awkward the first time, it does get easier. And like after the first few times, you'll kind of figure out if they're your vibe or not. So just put yourself out there a little more, even if you want to die because it's so awkward, but like if you keep doing it, it'll get easier. What's the biggest piece of advice you can give after dating Jimmy for 9 years? There's two. I feel like there's two things. I was gonna say like try to always be patient and understanding, but also remember to take care of who you are, like yourself. Just like don't give everything to one person. How to get over irrational fears preventing me from doing simple daily tasks. I really feel for this one because like you guys know that I did that whole video where I was like doing things that made me uncomfortable so that I would get used to it and maybe get over the fear. And honestly, that really worked. So basically what I did was, for example, just like taking public transportation. I still get like really nervous about it because I think I have a fear of being lost and being alone while being lost. And so I think that's why I don't like driving in public transportation. But I've started to take the bus a lot more, to the point where it's really not as scary as it used to be. Like if I need to go somewhere, I'm like, okay, and I have to take the bus, I don't feel like gutted about it. Like I just am like, okay, it's not the most preferable option, but I'll do it. And I think just me forcing myself to do it over and over and over again kind of made me realize it's not as scary. And even if you are lost, like you can always find your way back. So before, like when I first started doing this, I'd be like, okay, I need to like make sure that my phone is fully charged before I go in case I get lost and I need to get directions. And I just kind of read over and over again, like what are the stops? Like what's the stop before the stop I have to stop at, so I know what stop I'm getting off at, and just stuff like that. So just like preparing yourself for before whatever you're about to do, and then just reminding yourself of the steps over and over again. And I think honestly the key is just like going and doing it, and then just repeating it. The first time is always going to be the hardest because you just don't know what to expect. So just try it. And if you kind of fail the first time, like I've had so many times where I'm going to take the bus and then I'm chicken out and then I take an Uber. That's okay. Just the next times you do it, just really, really try and just breathe in and just do what you're trying to do. My boyfriend fell out of love with me. How do I recover even though I may still love him? this one's hard. Sometimes these questions are hard because I've only had like one boyfriend, Jimmy. So I think just like thinking about it logically, the one breakup that I've had, it must be really painful. I think that for me, honestly, it's just kind of like distracting myself with things that I really enjoy doing, and with people that I really enjoy being around that always make me feel like I'm having a really good time. That honestly helps time pass and makes it so much easier for me to get over something. The night is going to be the hardest because that's when you're like alone and you're just wrapped up in your thoughts and you're trying to go to sleep but you can't because all you can think about is the other person. So I always try and like make myself super tired and distracted during the day so that at night, like, I might still have a hard time falling asleep, but it's a little bit easier because I'm so tired from having a great day. So I think that's my advice. And I honestly feel like by doing that, you kind of rekindle friendships that may have not been as strong because you got into a relationship, or you're gonna make new ones, or you'll just find new things that you love and like discover things about yourself again, or rediscover or discover new things. So I don't know, maybe just try that. I know it's been like a couple weeks since you've asked this, so I'm really sorry. I hope that you are doing better. Oh my gosh, how to deal with feeling incompetent because I'm not getting hired before I graduate. So I honestly really feel for you because when I graduated, I didn't have a job. I literally had nothing to show for 4 years of college with a human bio degree. Like, it was ridiculous. And I just felt so stupid because everybody else was getting jobs and like internships or whatever. And I don't know. Like, I went through college and I was like a really hard worker. I had a really good GPA, and then I got out of school and I had nothing to show for it. And so I definitely feel you when you feel like you're not as good as everyone else or you're not competent, which isn't true. Honestly, like, just getting a job is just freaking ridiculous. And like, it just makes me mad because like I know people who are perfect for jobs, but just because on paper they don't look like it, people don't want to hire them, which I get, but it's also frustrating. So just dealing with it for me, like, I'm 26 and I still like am trying to, I told you guys I'm like trying to like apply for other jobs and stuff, and I'm getting rejected left and right. Like, I still don't have one. And so honestly, the way I deal with it is just kind of like, I try and learn from each rejection, I guess, and then remember that, you know, just keep trying for the things that you like doing, and eventually something will happen. It might not be like, I might still just be doing YouTube full time, and maybe I'll just, instead of getting like a full-time job, I'll get like a part-time job to kind of fill out my time, and maybe from that I can grow into something else. Like, I just try and remember that, like, just keeping my options open, and just because I'm getting rejected from this like subset of this kind of job doesn't mean like nothing is ever going to happen for me, which is really hard for me to not think about because it feels like that. But I always just try and like, I guess, keep going because that's just kind of like my personality. Even when I feel like, fuck it and just give up, I don't, because I don't know, sometimes I have you seen that photo like of that cartoon of that guy digging a mine and then he stops digging, but like he could, if he just dug one more, there would have been like a gem or something behind there. That's kind of how I always think, like, and that's how I felt about my skin. Like, I wanted to give up so many times, and I'm so glad I didn't, because the next try could be the thing that works. So I'm trying to apply that philosophy to like this part of my life. So I hope that helps. I know it's like super discouraging and actually very hard to put into practice, but I'm just trying to deal with it like that. I'm not really exactly sure what the right way to deal with it is, but that's just how I'm doing it. Ways to show appreciation for a partner and how to be patient. So to show appreciation, I'm sure you guys have heard this so many times, like a gazillion people talk about it, but like the love language thing, honestly, it's really good. Like, You don't really necessarily have to take a test for it, but if you want to like kind of, if you're the kind of person that likes to think in categories, it's a really good way to see it, I guess. But honestly, just understanding the other person's love language is important, because a lot of misunderstandings can happen if you just don't. So for example, like, I might sound materialistic, but I'm going to be honest, I am a gifter, and I also like to receive gifts. I like to give more than receive, but receiving gifts is always nice too. Like, I enjoy it. So Jimmy doesn't though. So for me, like, I'm always giving and giving and giving him stuff. And at first I think that he was just kind of like, didn't really understand and was kind of annoyed at it, because he's not a very materialistic person. But I think when him and I took the love language test, he kind of realized, oh, like, this is how she shows how much she loves me. And so now it's kind of like, I think he appreciates it and enjoys it a little bit more. And then on my end, I realized like, oh, Jimmy doesn't really, he's not really a gifter. And so I try and, when I gift him things, I try and give him like experiences we can do together, because this is quality time. Or his other one is physical touch, so like sex. But like, yeah, so just stuff like that, like just understanding what the other person wants, like in terms of affection, is just important. And just trying to like compromise, and I feel like it's self-explanatory, but just like giving the person what the other person likes, if that makes sense. There is a person whom I talk to only because we don't want to lose each other, but other than that, I think I have reasons to leave him too. Does that make sense? Yes, it does. You didn't ask a question, but I feel like maybe your question is like, should you like leave or not? Yeah, I think so. Honestly, like, I had this thought too, because I was been with Jimmy for so long. At some point you're kind of like, are we together because we feel like comfortable, and like we're scared of losing kind of this comfortness, because what if we don't find something like that again? So I've kind of had those thoughts too, and like I've had to think through that. And so I really get where you're coming from. Like, you like being around them, and it's so just easy and everything, but like other than that, there's not really anything there. I get that. And I think personally, like, in my opinion, this might not be the right opinion really, like, I don't feel like that's a reason to stay, because for me, when I was figuring out whether I was staying because I was still in love with him or because it was just out of comfort, for me, when I figured out like, well, I'm really still in love with him, it was such like a happy feeling rather than feeling like, oh, I'm just really comfortable with him. And so I personally feel like I would tell you, maybe take some space from this person, because what if you find something that brings you even more joy and like happiness in your life? And I guess like that's just what I would want for you, like a happy, like a really happy life. But like, I wouldn't say just cut that person off, because like they were, you know, they bring like some kind of happiness in your life and comfort, you know, but just maybe taking some space and seeing what that is like. So okay. We don't look, because this girl talks. I have to pick one that's not so.
Okay.
What do you do when you compare yourself to others too much, or just have anxiety about your life?
I'm
gonna let you answer.
Find people to compare yourself to that make you happier. I'm just kidding.
They are asking for genuine advice.
I know. I mean, I feel like I do that a lot in business school. Like
That's why I asked the question.
Yeah,
we do it all the
like
time.
I think like I feel like it's like I thought I was doing a lot or had done a lot, and then I came to business school, and it always feels like I feel like, I don't know if it's just me, but I always feel like I'm never doing enough here. Like, I feel like everybody else is somehow managing it 10 times as much as I am and doing all those things better than the few things that I'm doing. So it's kind of hard not to compare myself to them and, like, I guess, like, project our trajectories.
Yes, like the advice.
Yeah, so it's really hard not to compare myself to everybody. Cause
Sorry,
feel
the camera cut off, so, like, I don't really know where he stopped, but I told him he should just give his advice.
Yeah, okay. Well, anyway, the advice is that, like, I don't know, it's kind of specific to business school, but it's kind of also just, like, realizing that everybody is on their own path. Like, one thing that I think I've told you and, like, a lot of the people is that, like, it's all, like, one thing that's really interesting is how the dream job of someone going into business school is also the job that someone at the exact same school just left for various reasons. So it's like not everything is meant for everyone, and, like, you kind of go at life at your own pace. Like, everybody in business school, like, we're on the exact same situation right now and the exact same spot for the next 2 years, but, like, we're all different ages, have had different experiences, and it's like there's multiple ways to kind of end up in the same place. And I think kind of just realizing that helps sometimes.
You have to rewatch this video whenever you feel like that.
No.
Every week.
No.
Every week he's like...
You know, I just like giving advice. I don't ever take advice.
Okay, guys. Thanks so much for watching. We really... Babe, now they can see my double chin.
You what?
My double chin. I hope that you guys enjoyed this Heart to Hannah. I will do another one, and I won't be so late about it. Bye.